The CIA's official digital reading room is currently hosting a 1983 newspaper clipping about a couple from the Orion constellation who moved to Scottsdale to spread a message of galactic peace, which is essentially the government version of keeping your old high school poetry in a locked safe.
It is the ultimate bureaucratic just in case. They archived an article from the Arizona Daily Wildcat titled "Star People Visit Earth to Spread Peace Message." This isn't a secret manifesto written by a deep cover agent. It's a report on Michael and Aurora El Legion, a couple who told a university audience they were from star system M42. They claimed 300 million star people were already living on Earth incognito, waiting for a nuclear crisis so they could step in and neutralize all the bombs.
Neutralizing bombs sounds like a great dental plan for the planet. But why does the Central Intelligence Agency have this in their FOIA archives? Does the CIA think Scottsdale is a suburban staging ground for an intergalactic intervention? Or are they just really thorough fans of student journalism?
The agency has a long documented history of being the weirdest person at the party during the Cold War. They weren't necessarily endorsing the idea that Aurora and Michael were from Orion. They were obsessed with anything involving fringe consciousness, psychological warfare, or potential foreign influence. If a couple is claiming to be part of a massive underground network of aliens, the CIA wants that data point. It fits into the broader, much stranger world of Project Stargate and the Gateway process.
Project Stargate sounds like a movie that would star Kurt Russell. But in reality, it involved the government paying people to sit in dark rooms and vibe their way across the solar system. One declassified document from May 1984 details a remote viewing session where a psychic was told to look at Mars in the year 1 million BC without being told it was Mars.
The transcript is eerie. The viewer describes seeing giant, thin people wearing strange clothes, hiding in massive stone pyramids to escape dust storms. They describe a dying civilization looking for a new home. This viewer was given coordinates in a sealed envelope, and suddenly they are describing a megalithic Martian apocalypse. This isn't some guy in a tinfoil hut. This was a taxpayer-funded experiment conducted at Fort Meade.
The government spent millions trying to weaponize the starseed vibe. They even produced a 1983 report called The Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process. This document reads like a physics textbook written by someone who just discovered LSD. It talks about hemisync technology, which uses sound frequencies to synchronize the left and right hemispheres of the brain.
The goal was to turn the human brain into a laser. Usually our brainwaves are scattered like a light bulb. Hemisync was supposed to align them so perfectly that the amplitude would match, allowing consciousness to literally phase out of the physical body. The CIA's own analyst, Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonald, wrote that the universe is just a massive hologram and that with enough brain syncing, you can travel to other dimensions or visit those tall, thin people on ancient Mars.
It's funny how we imagine the CIA as these stone-faced men in black suits, but the documents reveal they were essentially trying to find a shortcut to enlightenment so they could use it to peek into Soviet filing cabinets. It's the men who stare at goats, but with more paperwork.
The term starseed itself comes from the New Age world, specifically Brodsteiger's 1976 book, Gods of Aquarius. He proposed that certain humans are actually alien-human hybrids or souls from other star systems, like the Pleiades or Sirius. While the CIA doesn't use the word starseed as an official designation, their interest in non-human entities and astral projection created the perfect evidentiary pile for modern conspiracy theorists.
People see CIA.gov and people from Orion in the same search result and assume it's a confession. In reality, the CIA archives everything from Soviet UFO sightings to weird local news reports about psychic couples in Arizona. It's less, we found the aliens, and more, we are terrified the Soviets might find the aliens first, so we better keep a folder on it.
The distinction between archiving a claim and verifying a fact is where the internet usually loses the plot. That 1984 Mars document is a transcript of a psychic's perception, not a satellite photo of a Martian pyramid. But the fact that the Army and the CIA took it seriously enough to conduct the session is the real story. They were looking for raw data from the human subconscious.
The Gateway Process Report actually tries to explain the how using quantum mechanics and Planck's distance. It suggests that if you vibrate your consciousness fast enough, you can slip through the gaps in the physical world. It's like trying to walk through a moving fan by timing your steps between the blades.
That analogy is surprisingly accurate for a document that also claims the absolute is a state of conscious energy and infinity. The CIA was trying to remove the occult stigma from these practices by dressing them up in the language of theoretical physics. If you call it astral projection, it sounds like a crystal shop in Sedona. If you call it interdimensional phase shifting for intelligence collection, you get a budget from the Department of Defense.
The cultural legacy of these documents is massive. You have entire communities on TikTok and Reddit today identifying as starseeds, citing their feeling of not belonging on Earth as proof of their extraterrestrial origins. They point to the declassified Gateway documents as the proof that the government knows we are living in a holographic simulation.
The I don't belong here feeling is a universal human experience, but the CIA documents give people a high-tech, government-stamped reason for that alienation. Instead of I'm socially awkward, it becomes my soul is calibrated for the frequency of the Andromeda galaxy and the CIA has a PDF explaining why.
The irony is that the CIA eventually shut down Project Stargate in 1995. They concluded that while the psychics occasionally got things right, the data was too noisy and inconsistent to be used for actual spy work. It turns out that traveling to Mars in your mind is much easier than finding the exact location of a hidden bunker in Siberia.
They found that human imagination is a very powerful, very unreliable GPS. But that hasn't stopped the documents from becoming legendary. That missing page 25 of the Gateway Report became a holy grail for conspiracy hunters. It was missing for years until it was finally released, and it basically just said that we are all part of the universal consciousness. It was the ultimate, the real treasure was the friends we made along the way ending.
The government is just as confused as we are, they just have better filing cabinets. Whether it's tall people on Mars or Orion residents in Scottsdale, the CIA's reading room is a testament to the fact that when things get weird, the spooks get interested.
It's a bizarre intersection of Cold War paranoia and New Age mysticism. The fact that these documents are public now is the most interesting part. It shows that at one point, the highest levels of national security were genuinely considering that the human mind could leap across the stars without a rocket.
So, the next time someone tells you they're a starseed from the Orion constellation, just remember the CIA probably has a clipping of them in a folder somewhere right next to our report on how to kill a goat with your mind, right?
Exactly. They aren't necessarily watching the stars, they're watching the people who are watching the stars.
If this dive into the CIA's most eccentric files gave you a new perspective on your neighbors, pass this episode along to someone who's always looking at the night sky.